2:34 p.m. I'd like to call this listening session to order of the Stevensville School Board of Trustees. Please rise for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Our board will take official roll that we recorded the official meeting of the board. So, Stephanie and Jennifer, Nathan, Tony, Fran, Billy, Ben, I am here, and Dan. All right, 6 of our 8 board members are present today. So welcome to today's board listening session. This session is an official gathering of board under Montana law, but not a meeting where formal decisions or action items will be addressed. Instead, this format provides an opportunity for board members to actively listen, engage with the public and staff, and ask questions to better understand the community and staff concerns and support the district's goals. No official decisions will be made today, and any comments from board members should not be interpreted as commitments to future action. Today's session reflects the board's commitment set last summer to strengthen engagement with staff and stakeholders and stay connected with key school support groups, including Booster Club, Stars Foundation, CTE, and the school's technology initiatives. There is no formal agreement. Would any trustee like to take the floor or offer to comment?
I just want to thank you guys for all being here. We can bridge that gap between the communities and come forward with all the holders. So, okay.
I'll add that anything that we talk about in the next hour or anything that you want to bring up, cannot include any pending legal matters or private personnel, student or staff issues. And so we'll steer clear of those, but you definitely want to actively listen. The floor is open. Superintendent Dennis, anything I should have offered you the opportunity to say anything you wanted?
It's okay. You did great, but thank you all for being here. Again, open forum. So if there are things that you want to make the board aware of, make myself aware of, please share your thoughts and insight.
Yeah. So I think we have a substance. Plan.
Yeah, no, and that's a clarifying question. Yeah. And Dan reminded me that we're under the formal setting for we need it, which was being.
Oh, Bruce Jessup.
We talked. I don't know that there's a great solution. Evaluated what other districts up and down the valley are paying. You know, the one tool board has a little bit of pay. Adjust the pay too much for substitute. It's out of line, inappropriate, unfair to other hourly staff. So, Superintendent Dennis, I mean, the pay is the one lever that we can pull over the bid. We're not wildly different from anyone else and everyone else.
I don't think that issue is a one specific fix. I think there's multiple facets to that, including simply just connecting the dots in terms of internal processes. As far as when somebody is hired as a substitute at the board level, the entry of the data into the system, the communication from the system to the new substitute, any of those break down and you get substitutes that don't get informed. And a lot of times the initial email can go into their junk mail. And so I know there's been some times where folks will reach out and call, but we also have a lot of subs in our system that apply and then never take jobs. And that is an issue. And so working through some of those kinks, we've been brainstorming some ideas or thinking about some ideas, nothing solid at this point, but there's a lot of things that could be done, but there's nothing that we have put together yet that's become final.
You met Larson, which kindergarten first grade combination class. Just to play off of Mr. Jessup's, I feel like it's urgent. Like, we don't have a plan yet, but this is urgent. On one day, we might have 7 unfilled positions. 7 teachers don't have a substitute. If teachers' classrooms are needing to be split, I'll take 7 of your kids, and she'll take 7 of your kids, she'll take 7. The staffing gets pulled from one classroom to say, we're gonna need to pull you because we need a teacher in this classroom. Like, to me, this is too urgent to say, we kind of are working on a plan. Like, I feel like this is top priority. We need to move on. How do we recruit people? Our parents that are substitutes get paid less than a certified teacher's position. So we don't get the same paraprofessionals work with our highest need, most intense students. And it is sometimes a very dangerous situation they're going into. They don't even have the training. Like, to me, this is top priority. So I just want you guys to really, like, we've got to get together, get on this immediately.
Can I add to that?
Sure.
Great control, I just work great. Many of the needs of our students are being met because of this shortage, to where we have students that aren't getting, their minutes aren't being met for special education, to where groups aren't being pulled. I mean, it is all hands on deck, and there's not a lot of hands right now, and it's very stressful for the staff that we do have that are coming in, so.
So, you know, in the spirit of learning more and hearing how bad the need is, are anybody aware of the districts who have solved this, have figured it out? I mean, we walk a fine line as a board between the day-to-day governance that administration does a nice job with, and then all of it, and everybody here carries out, and then board governance. So, like I said, you know, the one lever we can kind of pull is the data governance. But outside of that, so yeah, there's been some social media posts, there's been some recruitment. Is it solved strictly through recruitment, or what would see other things? Because we're not alone. Yes.
One solution that some of us have mentioned is like hiring roving subs, like subs that are full-time staff that are always on campus to fill those unfilled positions.
And so, yeah, once you get that 90-day mark, that you have to treat somebody like a full-time staff position, but
Right.
chief, which are when you have
That's
to
correct.
build it into the staff with us, plan a salary for it, and that sort of thing.
Yep, and insurance benefits too, so that will ties.
Just a suggestion, I don't know if it's valid or if it would work at all. As you interact with your parents, perhaps if you let your parents know that you have a sub issue and see if they might not be interested. It might not generate a single one. Never hand you're quite surprised. Maybe generate some interest from some parents that would like.
I appreciate this being brought up, but I'm very the problem. I'm a daughter with paraprofessional in the district, and I think that's what y'all would like be able to be like, I don't want anyone to think that we're not taking it serious anymore. We don't know what to do. Like, we're looking at other districts and seeing what they're doing, and we're kind of at the box. What's the next step to get people? And so I'm glad that y'all bring that come from please, if you are in another district, please share that with us individually and the board when the instruction when you get it to the board, come to a board meeting, share and public comment so that hopefully we can act on that. Because we do recognize, I personally recognize that there's a problem. And once to solve it, I don't have the answer. I just honestly don't have the answer to solve it. As much as I want to solve it, I don't have the answer.
So I have heard that sometimes like some will be put into separated care than they fall in. So you make the pretty knowledgeable and you don't know that.
Yes, we can.
One of the things that I heard, that one school was doing, and I was that after subbing so many days, they got some type of or if they subbed so many days for Christmas, there would be like a Christmas bonus given to those subs for what was it? So I thought I would trust that.
Yes, just one more thing, maybe to not have a difference between a classroom teacher or a certified teacher versus a paraprofessional. Why not make that pay a daily rate, whatever it is, if teacher to teacher, like we all have so much that we have to do in a day. And I don't think that there should be that discrepancy. Because why would we encourage someone to say, oh, no, I'm not that for a paraprofessional, they get X amount less. Why not make that across the board? Solid, daily rate.
Okay. Log the notes here. Thank you. Yes.
Trying to get like maybe part of the sub problem. Who's Jessica? Part of the sub problem is there is a lot. Is there a motivation for teachers in a positive way to not be absent? Like what I'm thinking about specifically is like we have a certain number of personal days, and my personality is to hold on to those personal days as long as possible in case something happens and I really need it. Towards the end of the year, I use just one personal day. And it's not really worth it to not use up more personal day. If there was an incentive for me to, like, if I say 1 or 2 personal days, I still have some sort of incentive to not use that. People like he's like, oh, I get $50 for not using my last personal day, right? I mean, that would still save me this money myself. So just incentive for us not, order might have some reason for us to really want to not take that out.
Yes.
I wanted to kind of back up what Yvette was saying. We as secretaries look at the sub list every morning about how we start our day, and it is more often than not that teacher spots will be filled, leaving para spots unfilled. So I do think that they are more tenured amongst the subs, maybe quite possibly for the pay. Sorry. And then on that note too, sometimes our parents have more of a demanding day than a teacher, not to say anyone works harder than another, but depending on the students you're working with, the schedule you have for the day. So I think that my point is I would support her idea in making that pay equal. And that would lessen or even alleviate the something that we may do feel that there's a higher need for another person in the building than they originally signed up for. They might not be as reluctant and less willing to shift position.
Thank you.
We have 5 personal days, teachers, certified staff. If you don't use, if you don't use 2 of the first 2, then you get $100 for each day. But if you use 3, you don't get anything for the remaining 2 days that you can. But I mean, it's gonna not do something, but once you use the first 2, then.
And instead of, maybe you've got a mismatch. It's time, I think. It's kind of the previous days off where they work side. Sometimes go. Obviously. There's, safety is part of it. Yes. Go ahead.
I'm just gonna ask all the rates.
Yeah. We raised it a few years ago, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna make a estimated guess. I think it's 95. Yeah. Yeah.
And then, yeah, you did request for repair. That sounds right too. Yeah.
I will make another comment, and before some, and then like, okay, I should pump up, but there's a lot to ask of people to take this kind of day, and then to work with some kids, like, I remember my first time, go with a parent, and, you know, look at the stuff with work station would be there for, this summer.
Yes.
Can I just ask how that compares? Is that- What is that? But do we know whether maybe hourly?
Based on.
Yeah.
7 hours.
Yeah, based on a 7-hour day.
So for your hour, for the teacher, pays, $80 a day, $11.25 for 8 hours. Para, $7.66 for 7.5 hours.
Ladies that way. Ladies.
Yes.
Hi, Title One is elementary school. I think the lack of substitutes is really a symptom of a larger problem. Again, I get to push it in many classrooms and see a lot of expertise and a lot of really brilliant teachers. And it's a tough job. I think the lack of discipline, the lack of follow through, or consequences. There are a lot of troubled, trauma, emotionally dysregulated children that, regardless of your compassion and your enthusiasm and talent, you just take a beating. And there's no backup, there's no support. There's one kindergarten teacher who has 4 or 5 super high-need kids. And she's not coming back next year. I'm not speaking for her. This is just my own concern as a public citizen and someone who wants to contribute to the betterment of the school. So again, I think the lack of substitutes is really the symptom of a larger problem, lack of support, a lot of dysregulated kids, lack of consequences for discipline. Our standards are exceptionally low. I'm appalled most days of the week as to what is tolerated. Thank you.
Thank you. So I want to be careful, but we've had this discussion in board meetings. Recognizing that our first and foremost duty is to educate, every student, every youth who lives within the Dallas school district, and then any youth that lives outside the boundaries of wants to, that's first and foremost. But we've definitely had this discussion. We would be very interested in knowing what a board could do to make Stephenville a place that addresses those things within the bounds of the law, on the bounds of what we're able to do. That there are times when the line is crossed. I don't know what that line is, and I can't articulate what that is. But at some point, is it not beneficial for the rest of the students in the class to continue to have a student in there who's derailing things so far? And so we have had this discussion a number of times. Obviously not resulting in anything actionable, but it's not due to lack of interest from this board. Everyone, but by and large, definitely been interested in we write policy, and we write anything that backs the positive, progressive culture in the classroom that doesn't have room for maybe some of the things you're speaking about. So not due to lack of interest. I think we'd be very interested doing something more with what we've done for policy. Mr.
Have there been served a great teacher? I just want to ask about when we have 25 kids in the class, those behaviors are exacerbated because we have multiple behaviors happening. And so just taking into class sizes into consideration, I think that's a huge step, especially for the elementary. We're trying to teach reading, those foundational skills. It's really hard to do that when we're dealing with all these other behaviors, with so many kids in a small space.
I don't think what she was saying. Is it across the board that we're having some problems, or is it certain areas? So I wonder if that's something to do with that, and wherever the areas are, so we're not, maybe we could focus on that area. If that is potentially.
Couldn't answer that. That'd be data.
It is. Yeah. Yeah, we're having a harder time filling positions in the elementary school. Yeah. The other schools are filling.
And then also, when I first started teaching, the first thing in 25 is as we're having more types of behaviors and more attention drawn to certain behaviors and more expectations from people for us to concentrate on certain people more than other people. If certain students more than other students, if that makes sense. It's just more of a burden than it used to be. 25 kids seems right, 35
And Jen, with the great teachers, thank you for next year.
Yes.
Tina Square, the school secretary. In the past, just touching back on the sub situation that my people said, we do become the work that's first in the guys. We need to build, we haven't rebuilt it. To my knowledge, there was not sub training provided at the beginning of the school year, whereas in the past, when I started as a sub, oh gosh, 10, 11 years ago, before I started working in the district, I went to sub training. I was trained on Institute Canvas, I was trained on behavior matrix, I was trained on classroom procedures, and that, to my knowledge, did not happen this year, or last year. So 2 years in a row now that we have subs coming in that were not trained at the beginning of the year. and give them those materials that can help them be successful in the classroom and help them meet those students the way a teacher would, the way another paraprofessional would. So I think just an idea, if you're able to get the word out there this summer and just push it, that we're offering sub training. In the past, you've made more as a sub if you attended sub training. And then also just to add along to what Yvette said and what Nicole said, that if subs were paid across the board the same amount, that might help fill those paraprofessional positions a little bit more. I've had subs tell me personally, I make more as a teacher, I'm not a big fan paraprofessional. If you don't move me when I get there. And as a secretary, I can't not move subs when they get there. If I have to, I try to let them know before they get into my building, hey, you were here for this person, we have to move you, I'm really sorry, you're going to be teaching a class, you know. But just that sub training and giving the subs that are interested the tools that they need, I think might be really beneficial and might actually help them feel confident that when they're leading 25 kids in one class or 150 kids out on the playground.
Thank you. Yeah, and I remember the training you're talking about, or I remember seeing and posting there, so that's, I didn't know we didn't get that accomplished. That's something just, you know.
Those of you that know that history, I sympathize with the problem. And I know it's not an easy one to fix. And I'm glad to hear that you're bringing that problem forward and that there are solutions that are being offered. I would submit perhaps something that could come out of this is that as a staff, whether it be at grade levels or however you do it, if you chose to do it, that you sat down and started to brainstorm. What can you do as a staff to help solve this problem? Because we as a board and the administration, we don't necessarily have all the answers. And sometimes we really don't have a full handle on the problem. So I would encourage you as a staff to sit down and try to brainstorm about some creative ideas and solutions, such as what we've heard now and come forth with. There may be others, but I would welcome to hear that because it is a problem. It has always been a problem. It's nothing new, but we need to do whatever we can to try to fix it as best we can with the resources that we have.
Yes.
And potentially before, so much almost come back to what we have resources and how so we're only and so it doesn't provide any I'm going to know some of us were not here for the exact and it's a piece of it that's it's not out of the box. Full hundred not and a lot of the students that have they're immediately involved here because here's our problem, but here's the problem. So I and a lot of them and not any of these inclusion. And so meanwhile, we're going to probably figure out we don't want that and so we're trying to work through the year, work through life, and try to that age, that and it's really that's
Good luck.
One more thing on that. idea, if it was to get the pay equal for para and teacher, how about also incorporating the community into it and getting gift cards donated? And like, oh, you sub today, and you get a Subway gift card, and you go give your family a dinner tonight, or, Super Bowl, a grocery card. Like, to me, a sub would think, wow, they really appreciate it, and I got a gift card about that. And then that brings our community. So somebody like get the pay and start saying, hey, we've got to really connect with our schools, and this is a way for them to feel like they're valued by you, and you are, participating in it, being a part of it. Just that.
That comes back. The idea is that you're on the ground, you're in the front line. Ideas like that are certainly very valid. I think sit down and again brainstorm and hope what you guys might come up with. But that's a very good idea.
Yes.
No, I'm Shannon, I'm sitting there, I'm a great teacher, but as I'm sitting here, one of the things that keeps coming to my mind is, there's a lot of staff here, and this was also open to community members. One of the things to bridge like communities is, you guys are here for the first time in the day that I can ever remember. Like, I don't know if this has ever happened. I've worked here like 20 years. I don't know if you've had this kind of before, so it's super cool. But I wish we could do it with our students too. And I was wondering if there's a way for like us to kind of think about if we could bring our board in and have our students, because in fifth grade we teach about careers, and they write to like our MBI teams, but they write to the people that make the expectations and have a voice. And I think it'd be cool if through the kids, the parents heard how the school works, and then maybe that would get out of the community. But this stuff is to think about, like if we could do something like this for kids, or the kids are part of this.
Yes. Thank you for that. That's a cool idea. Fun thinking and writing, not, didn't want you to think that did it. Okay. All right. Go very good.
All right, Trevor Motley, I don't want to underscore this soft knock at all, but I have something else that I'd like to talk about, get you guys to think about. I'm not expecting any answers, but I think we need to do something about transportation. We need some functional vehicles that are not the size of a bus, that those folks who have taken the training and drive and have a four-wheel drive. We have minivans that don't have four-wheel drive. I'm not convinced that they're maintained adequately. The last time I checked one out, all four tires were low. I couldn't find them in copy of insurance. And that's a recurring issue. 2 years ago, I took a school van on a trip and put new tires on it, and I got hosed because they were in the wear parts. I don't think if we're maintaining these vehicles, maintained, we're putting students in. Another thing, I get to travel quite a bit. I see a lot of school buses, and I take note of what schools are bringing to things like buses, vans, Springer kind of type vehicles. And we're one of the few schools across the state, across all the different school sizes, that doesn't have a coach bus. I think that we should look seriously at getting a coach bus for our school. I think that it helps elevate what our program you're doing, right? Kids will feel better about getting on a coach bus. This maybe isn't breaking down every other trip, and leaving them stranded. Those are just a couple of things. I noticed when I taught in Coral, they had a brand new Expedition. It had a school bus placard on it. They used it to transport. Then if it wasn't being used for that, activities could use it. I'm assuming they did that so that they could use less appreciation fund to purchase that vehicle. Those are just kind of out of the box things that I think that we need to look at.
Thank you. And you mentioned a good point there, Reverend. So the board did very briefly, I remember this, Dan, when you talk about over the road travel bus. Been a few years. And we didn't get super far in the weeds on it, but it is a trade-off because, and I don't know all the rules, but there's a lot of that when it's not for the daily route transportation, it becomes a general fund expense and salary, where we want to put emphasis in teacher salary. Supply and other things are general fund expense. So big ticket item, a big, like, and I know the schools have them. They've got these really nice over the road buses, but 400,000, 500,000 more is 500,000 that we don't have in the general fund. So those are some trade-offs we probably made to see, but other points well taken. Putting the placards on the magnetic placards on the side of an SUV. It does work well for a lot of Class C schools. We don't have our route transportation in-house with our contractors, so we wouldn't be able to double dip that way. We'll be able to use it. We could buy one on the general fund, but then that's $80,000 spent on an SUV that we didn't spend on salary or staff. So all good points.
I guess maybe to add back to that, maybe we need to look at bringing our transportation back in districts for our students. Another comment, one who lives in district.
Yeah. Yes.
I'm jumping back, Katie Cole, I'm jumping back to what Jan said about, because there's always this, I feel like a disconnect between the community involved and between us and you guys. And I'll just say, anytime we have an event like I went over there, and we had board members come, like last year, like that, when board members were there, it's huge. I think it's really good. It's getting our kids to know you guys, to start even learning about the process of how everything works, and then get their parents involved. I just really liked her idea and made me think about like when board members have shown up to things. And honestly, I would like, not challenge, but request that you guys come to because I think it's good for you and it's good for everybody is there and help us.
Thank you.
Sam Bragg. So I don't know if it's something you guys have, but looking for this room on a map, you guys don't have a map on your website. And it would be really, really helpful to have a map of all the school buildings and all the classrooms so that when someone says, hey, this is in this room, speaking as someone who wants to connect with the school board, I don't want to have to call, like, and be like, where's this room? What building is that? Can you give me directions? Because I have no idea how to find it. It's not like, this is a campus, so you're not on campus.
Which is very good.
And I would add to that the sports fields for people coming from out of town.
Today, this is a good example of our, we took 6 kids on both sides of us to have them. There was people in the country, we saw PBC, and then the buses, a lot more people in the band before that.
Just out of curiosity, so there are there police staff members?
I'm not sure, I know it's past site.
Or
Years ago,
you're going to, and that was the next question, how many would want to go to a sound and get that train? For people. Is that the only place training offered? So that's kind of. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we had. Yeah.
Sure. Sure. Yeah, two. Yeah.
That will be so.
A little bit share that they partner with their FCs, and then we contract with a private, shop.
Yeah.
up,
Yeah.
Pine Hollow. with
Right,
miles.
right. For our vans, we have those, checked every year with a private person, but for buses, Harlow's does the maintenance on the buses. Yeah.
Yes.
This is really how I realized. I wonder about this. So I don't know how you're supporting that, but I just want to have that one. Oh, no, I am here, and I know you have the scar, but not great spot, so I'm wondering if you could worded that, right? So then when people start to think, you know, story, but as soon as we reach our goal, we can go something new. But if we have that somewhere visible, so people can constantly be like thinking about law and thinking about things, how they could contribute. This is all.
Yeah, no, I think it's a good one. I don't want to put Mr. Lewis on the spot, but I heard them one time talk about that very.
And that's longer.
Yes.
So back to transportation, and I thought this was being called for this was to see where the bridge the community and the school together. Being the secretary, I think that transportation is one of our biggest downfalls when it comes to good relationships, ongoing phone calls, those kinds of things, because transportation, as we all know, has been less than ideal, in terms of communication, protocol, safety, you name it. We constantly are fighting it, and Tina and I in the offices get to hear those phone calls from parents about the bus traffic not working. We have a bus broke down at Eastside and Logan right now, in the middle of the road. So that's something that needs to be, if it's not already at the top of our priority list. I will say that with the we're in charge of it, it wasn't subcontracted out. Thank you for all this. Thank you.
And thank you, and I will share that, this has probably been more at the top of our list than maybe other things that have come up today. Our governance committee has spent, I don't know, we spent 3 hours in a meeting with the private contractor last month. We spent multiple meetings working on things. Tours, spending time in the facility, spending time with personnel, spending time with management. So that is not new to us. We're actively pushing, trying, working within the contract that we have. So
What is that contract? I'm currently where.
After this year, there's 2 more years on the contract after the end of this school year. Yeah, it was a 5-year contract.
In terms of the contract, you know, obviously there's things that they have agreed to with both, and I would imagine that some of those haven't been withheld. Is there any, you know, opportunity to essentially break it, or lack of a better way to put it?
Yeah, that's a lawyer question, with the contract. And, you know, we've had some very direct conversations with our transportation provider recently, about bus maintenance, about service, about expectation. There's been quite a lot of conversations about that. I know that that's not necessarily visible, but we do expect better. And we do expect there to be changes. At one point, there were 6 mechanics on campus going through each of the buses. We have also demanded that all of our buses be inspected by the Motor Carrier Division through the Department of Transportation, so that we can assure our parents and our community that the buses are safe and functional. And they have responded to that with, okay, we're going to do that. And so there are some things happening. They just aren't visible, and we have more work to do for sure. I can tell you when buses don't run, it is a problem for especially you building secretaries and administrators. It needs to run, and it needs to run well, and it needs to be done safely. And we are definitely making those demands.
And we have talked about it quite a bit as a board, quite a bit in committees. You know, for history's sake, I think Stevensville's always had some privately run buses, at least stated that in the sixties. But at least in the sixties. So, yeah, there's definitely a call for bring things back. We've never, at least since we've never run all, so, you know, just for perspective. That's yeah.
My question was answered. I was gonna ask about that.
Okay. Yes.
Same where I began, just for what feedback I have with, I know that you guys did book flyers and the like the food for the month, but more often than not, mine get lost. I have no idea what my kids are eating every day, so if those could be online, that would be great too. And if they are, I would like to know where they are because they have.
My first grader. And if it is online, yeah, maybe. Want to know that. Yes.
Piggyback off the first, there's a way to put things on the website, but there'd be a way for parents now to pay on their lunch accounts. Like, you know, it's easier for kids. But it's easy to feel the.
We're working on that too.
Yeah. That kind of stuff. If we can do that after the one, it makes me feel, like, I feel like they would appreciate that.
Sure. I think with the switch to K-12, but, and as you're all aware, the major changes to the website, I think those are all things we had worked through. That would say. But yeah, good service. Yes.
So this, I mean, I feel like it kind of correlates with that a little bit, transportation, maybe fix the school. So I hope the district got this district and start running. We're about to lose another head coach, but I feel like a lot of this stuff comes back to, it's like, I hate even doing this like teaching part is so important. And I'm not saying we cannot prioritize that, but we have to somehow figure out how to get athletics back on a priority facilities, because we will continue, we'll be like, we keep comparing, but it's like, so everybody's running buses, everybody's better fields, people will not come to this school. And if we don't figure out a way to get them, STAR's been doing amazing with it, and it's a community thing, it's like a school thing, and we're just like always on different pages with it. And you know, in the past, it's like, well, people don't really beat this school because of athletics. And I just highly disagree with that. And maybe like the stats don't show it, but you know, if we lose a kid to athletics, what are the siblings going to do? They're going to fall out. You know, I know so many people. And then if they leave, then we're never having extra funding for buses, for fields, for coaches, teachers. And we got to figure out how to make it a priority. And it's getting to the point where it's hard for me to even go ask for funding, because I don't know if it's important. You know, like we can't keep kids here for athletics. I don't even personally want to do it, and it's not even towards you. It's just like we have to get back on the same page of like, this is important. Getting a track is important. It has to be. You have to make it a priority for the all circles back. It brings the kids into our school. It keeps the kids in our school. Because a lot of times these athletes go to Hamilton, go to Florence. I have these conversations with parents daily. Like, we're not going to stay here. You know, we don't have a coach now. We don't know who the coach is going to be. We don't know if we're ever going to get a track. We don't know if we're ever going to get a football field. People are like, I'll just drive 15 more minutes this way. I'll drive 30 minutes out, like 45 minutes out. And it's what is best for my kid. And it really has nothing to do with the teachers. I think really, I don't ever hear people say, I'm leaving here because of the teacher. I hear people say, I'm leaving here because of athletics. I'm leaving here because of more academic, or not academics, more opportunity for athletics elsewhere. And it's just so hard because I've been so against that mindset of like, going to another school, it's like, what happened to like being proud of Stevensville, proud of like, we stayed here and stayed together, but our kids are constantly losing friends, they're losing coaches, like, you're supposed to have, like, something about your point, like, these coaches are people you're supposed to go to, right? Like, you can't go to your dad, you can't go to your mom, you see this coach every single day. And you can go to that, you trust that. But now we lose that, you know, like Christy said, he's gonna have his third head coach for basketball in 3 years. And how does that make him feel? And his best friends have left, and like my kid's about doing the same thing, where his best friends are gonna work Hamilton. And there's other friends who are gonna maybe follow the coach for Dallas, or maybe go over here. It's like, how do we quit being the spirit of everybody? How do we do that? And you know, it's like, well, I feel bad you bring it up, because it's like, I mean, I don't feel bad, but it's like in comparison, of course, the kids are getting, they're taught and they're safe, and like, that's wonderful. But when I'm even like, I don't know if I can continue to go there. Like, I've talked to my husband about literally selling our house and moving to Lewiston, Idaho, because my family's there and they got a brand new football, they got some football classes. My kids do not want that at all. School over to daily basis, like, what's best for our kids? My kids want to play college, they want to play college sports. Are we giving them that opportunity here? I don't know if we are. And you just think like these kids who are in the track, right? Like, I feel bad, you know, it's like they want to go run, and these kids are incredible. Like, I think that too, like, the kids that stick around the scenes, they're some cool kids, right? Like, they're the kids who fight through it all. They run on that dirt track, they play for a team that loses, and they still show up, and it's cool. But what are we gonna do to be like, reward them? Like, let's make this better for you. Like, try and go towards it, or get here, we're getting here, and it's accept that. And then it's another 2 to 3 years, guys, we're gonna be there. And then it's a step back. And a year now, but I was making an example, like the 8th grade boys football team beat every team in this college this year. They only lost a touchdown. Big deal. We beat Hamilton by 35 points. But these kids still want to leave without Hamilton. Like, that's a disappointment, right? Like, you want to leave your best friends to go play with a team that isn't going to be that good for years, to play on a good football field. You know, our coach, he wants to play for a team that our 8th graders beat 2 years in a row. Every single game by 20 points. Let's go to that program. So I guess, and this isn't like a criticism, it's just, what is our plan? How do we do this? And I feel like it's the same people that are trying to fix it at all times. Same thing with like the teachers. It's the same subs that are coming in. It's the same businesses that help out. But there's so many that aren't anymore because they're tired of giving money to something that's never going to come to fruition. Like, and even me personally, like, I want to do so much. I want, you know, we've had long conversations with friends and people like, what can we do? How do we get things to fulfill? How do we do this? There's so much to have. What is our goal? I guess we need to just start thinking about it, because I just feel like we're at this tipping point again, where we're just about to lose, like, they're gonna lose more kids. And when the people who are most local to school are like, this might not be the place to stay anymore. I think that's the need for me. And I feel like we're getting like people that are well are starting to fade away. And I just worry about that. It's just something that we all do need to start really reaching out to people in the community for all of it. But facilities, they need to be an important thing.
But let's speak of the facilities issue. When we ran Climb Levy to upgrade the things we did here the first time we ran it, we had a very visionary plan for upgrading our athletic facility. Community center said they voted back out. So what did we do? So we turned around and asked the community, what do we need to do to pass this levy so we can do what we need to do with our structure that we support? And they said it clearly. Said, you take out this, that, track, this, whatever, we'll vote for it. Sure enough, they did. Historically, Stevensville has been one of the few communities, not the only one, in Valley County that has taken care of their own. That football field that's out there, And football people used to be back here where the parking lot was at. That was built by the community. The track that is out there, that's out there, was built by Bob Reed and a group of people that volunteered to do that. The way that's out here, it's currently the ALC, was built by a group of people that volunteered to build that facility. I coached here, and we played for the national resort, for the state championship against City. Well, we lost. 3 years later, we went 0-28. What happened? I have no idea. So we've run through situations where athletically, been a powerhouse here. We are not showing. We have not turned up athletically year after year after year. We won the state championship here. Tennis. Let me see. Tennis, basketball. What were the other? We've won three. I don't hear from Martin and Fox to me that I'm pretty in touch with athletics here in town historically as well. I don't hear people talking about we want to turn out state champion. They want their kids to be better. I don't have an answer for that, but I can tell you from a coaching standpoint, it's been a struggle for a long time for us to be competitive across the board in all schools. Some schools, I can't tell you why or how come, but Whitefish used to be a major powerhouse. They're going through the same situation. Park, which is Livingston, is going through the same situation. There's no easy fix to the answer to that. I don't know what it is.
Mr. Seibert?
Scott Seibert, I think you just hit on something exactly what was just being said. Our football field is built by community members. Our track is built by community members. We have a group of community members trying to raise money for a new tennis court, a new track, and we can't get those same community members now to come and rebuild what they built before and fix those things. And a lot of that, just like you're hearing, they're dying out. They've been asked so many times for donations, and they're not seeing the money go to things that they feel like they're asked for to go to. And I think like when we look at our website, there's no strategic plan on it. As long as I've worked here, I've never understood where we want to be in 5 years. We have that dream trying to get the track and trying to get the tennis courts to. I don't know what the district is doing on their end of things to say, okay, you guys are working towards this. In 5 years, we're going to have this much money that we can also donate to that. We don't do that with the curriculum. It's like, oh, it's been 6 years, and I guess we should get a new reading curriculum. Where can we find money? I think that the community and the teachers would really feel like we're going somewhere if we knew that we were on what we were thinking. We can't even pass a calendar for 2 years. It has to be done every single year. It just seems like we never have a plan more than 5 months out as to what our goals are. Just we react, but we're not proactive at the same time. And until we get to that path of proactivity and we have that 5-year strategic plan or 10-year strategic plan to say, this is where we want to be, our community is always going to feel like they're in there. On our website right now, we still have what we did with Pastor's Farms and our return to safety plan. No one's talking about that anymore.
Right, we're obligated by the feds to have that on there.
I'm just saying, we can see that something that happened a long time ago.
Sure.
But we can't see the plan moving forward. We see board goals up there, but we don't really know what those goals, what we're doing to meet those goals and how we're planning to keep meeting those goals for the future. And so I think we're losing people because of that. Because they're going, and maybe there is.
Well, and I
But
think
we're just not seeing it.
yeah, I think that's a fair point. You fairly well think about posting me clear. We held 7 strategic planning, long-term vision plans for the district here, 2022, 23. 7 unique sessions, all for the community, and everybody be involved. And so we've done a ton of work in that area, getting it posted, sure.
Yeah, is there a document anywhere that we can
Yeah.
have access to that or see?
Yes.
Because when we ask this question, sometimes it seems like nobody really knows the answer.
terms of those things.
There is a facility plan for the district that goes out 25 years.
And it's now at this point, I don't know, 8 years old, so, but there was one under prior administration that was there long term, so. Coming right to you, we did make a commitment that this would be, an hour-long session based on other meetings that we knew, other people have, and so if you want to throw that out there, that's kind of where we're headed, but that being said, yes.
I just want to add on, or have something to it. I just want to add on to the not having enough support for kids. There's also in the school, there's not enough support for them. Our students are dealing with not having choices. It's something because it's which course choice, which course is not as bad. I'm the art teacher, I'm also the photography teacher and the advisor, but we only have one art for some different things. And they're actually such a problem for all of those eighth graders going to high school because me and Lauren are with us teaching the exact same things because she has problems because you find out teaching. So there's no structure for my art class. There's not enough structure for her class, but it's not just art. It's all electives. There's not enough choices for these kids, in my opinion. Specifically, sixth graders. I don't know what to say. I don't know what we can and can't do because it's in sixth grade. But I've had many complaints on they don't like the choices that are there or how many choices that are there. So I think that we should also require like electives. I think that's an issue that
Thank you. That I will say, just so full circle communication here, probably not as high on our radar list as transportation has been in our level, but that has been on our list. So that I set a more goal around it, and we've been in regular communication with administration, district office, trying to do that. So we're aware and trying to allocate resources and things that happen within the conflict of this. So I appreciate you surfacing it again, and it needs surface until it's figured out. Yes.
I'm Billy Lynch, the trans specialist. I just want to reiterate before we leave, that by your this, that we had 5 parents on today with no sons. And that's how it is every day. We have at least 4 or 5 people that the rest of the parents have to cover, and we have to figure out and get lunch and, make things work so that these kids are getting an education. So while you're making your list and your priority, just remember that, and I believe that the janitorial staff is about the same goal to be on. We need people now, and we need subs now. We've had 3 people quit this year out of themselves. We've lost out on how many people off of the janitorial staff that hasn't. I realize that children are priority for school, but you need police positions now, and we need to fix this at a high rate speed. Because next year, it's gonna be worse.
I just want to add to that, it's really bad in the elementary right now. We've been splitting our classes, which I can't even tell you, we had a teacher gone for an entire day and we had our class split. So she's not kidding. It is so hard right now in the elementary.
Yeah. Other than that, I was for the meeting, is that, probably 90%. That's stronger than the other athletics. And believe that, you know, one of the reasons that he was on the rock, they don't want to take this. And hope that, facility would generate, have an opportunity to go to the next level. For the rest of the morning, right? So, I don't think the facilities and the athletes are even close to that, and probably 90% of the athletic community wants to work facility, wants an opportunity to go to the next level. There isn't that real opportunity here, so we continue to make sure what we need. Brandon, you did a great job. Building that basic, right? It's best one to know the building that we use. I think that we all here in the state, we need to look at facility, the sports facility, a gymnasium like Hamilton, where we can host national and state tournaments and bring in those stats or the tournaments back. That's a big endeavor. We've been here for a long time. We haven't seen ability as far as instructor. Can't have a class in January. We're going to actually do some work with that. So, and if you have training facilities, whether or not, you know, that's hardly swallowed. We don't have a lot of continue to ask the community. So we got to figure it out. We got 50 acres out there. We let you ask for a loan. We sell that off to the facility so that we can bring in the tournaments management in money for increase money, which wasn't our seat at school. That right there money for teachers. Eventually it paid off. But at the end of the day, we haven't seen any improvement in our facilities. And how are we going to make the next problem?
Thank you. This board did do, as Dan mentioned, extensive work in 2016 and 17 on that. And we should all studies, you know, obviously we moved in the direction that we did based on the input. Now we're coming up, you know, pretty soon to maybe next year, 10 years of survey studies for that. I don't want on the board to be opposed to, you know, some sort of study and survey being done. Outside group want to do that for the school and poll the community and find out the ability of the things I think you're talking about can't be done are wrong. You know, they're that. And so there really is a sea change in public opinion of the taxpayer and have that data.
It is great. As we all know, we have to get going in our right? So when we put out let's go ahead and that's where we can get the data on that to pass. We'll have those in and out, right? So I think we have to think about it. We have that data. What do we sell it off to create something for the panel? That's just it. And that's just, like I said, this whole meeting, I think, is great to turn from the athletic side of the community to the best.
Thank you. We're well over our hour. I know there's other folks that are speaking.
Can I just say one quick thing?
Yep.
Sorry, I want to speak in the parent for a second. After that, yeah, that's my biggest concern as a parent is I usually put this out there as academics at the school, because we are moving towards the other side of things to adjust to the majority of our student body, which has done massive increases in academic skill due to a variety of factors, some of which are definitely outside of our control. But when there are students who are on the other end of that, we have a real gifted program. We do not address the talented students in the school. We kind of ask for something that further down and might say, okay, just take a class at a higher level, but then they can't. My son goes to the position where he has to take classes that he needs to take because the only way to get him in higher level classes
if I have some kids, schedule off and sending them up other kids. Or my daughter on the other end, got tested and received no services in the entire year she was tested. So I would like to put that on the things that we go get addressed, like how are we going to address the animal compliance piece, just like our backups, who are might get the higher end. How do we help keep them at the school so I don't have to get sending my kids somewhere else? We do not understand.
Thank you. With that, continue on.
The willingness to talk and I know that the part of our meeting is convenient for anyone that, you know, all of you, but but that's about you. Yeah. You guys ever put on the ground? You can use it. You don't know.
Thanks to all staff, community. I think that is what we had in mind when we talked about this in the summer. We talked about it as its roots. Ironically, we had a meeting with goals. I can't speak to if it's happened in the past or not, but it certainly hasn't been in the recent past. So I think this is exceptionally positive for us. So, and it's not wanting to shy away at all from hearing hard things. We get better at hearing hard things. Thanks to all. Superintendent Tennis.
No, thank you.
Dan and Nathan, all those in favor of adjourning this listening session, say aye. All opposed, same sign. Thank you.
I can be